Hello and welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. Happy Friday to you. Yes, it's Friday. That means it's the end of the week for CME, which I'm going to look at in a moment. Before I do that, I just want to welcome you. Welcome back. And thanks for joining me for another daily Bitcoin price action analysis. Hope you're all well. I've had a great week and looking forward to a nice weekend. Yeah, let's get straight into it. Oh yeah, and as promised yesterday, even bigger head today. I don't know what's going on with this stuff on top of my head, but it's rather crazy at the moment. On that note, let's move over to the Chicago Merchant Exchange, aka CME. And here we have the weekly candle. Now I've drawn a little blue line on. You know, I like little horizontal blue lines on charts from time to time, been known to happen. And that does indeed represent the neckline of this M formation, also the current weekly low, which is right there. And Bitcoin is almost on it. Like, there's, to use a trendy phrase, like a car bonnet. With 1 hour and 20 minutes to go, that weekly candle, it's hovering around the same area that this one closed on. So that's super interesting. Clearly, closure from here, anywhere from here down, would be then a lower weekly low. And, you know, you could then argue that this whole section here, compared to this whole section, is a lower high. That would give you a lower low and a lower high. And everyone who's been in trading for more than 2 minutes knows what that is. That's a weekly downtrend. Although I don't think we need to get too carried away with just that, but certainly not yet. But anyway, yes, it's hovering right there. So I'm going to leave it at that for CME. I'll have a look, see where it actually closes tomorrow, because you'll be pleased to know that this video won't be going for 1 hour and 20 minutes. I think the only way I could do that would be like a live stream, and I could talk about any charts that anybody's interested in. Wouldn't have to be Bitcoin, could be anything from gold, I don't know, Nvidia, wherever floats your boat. But no, today's going to be 10 minutes. So now I'm going to switch over to Bybit and look at the lower timeframes. So weekly is the same as I've just explained, really, for CME, except it's already kind of below where Bybit has got its weekly low at the moment, at 61.5, give or take. It's a fair bit below there. It's over $1,000 below there right now, although Bybit still has 2 days and 5 hours until it closes. So that may be good, that may be bad, but it's just nowhere near a closure right now, and so not worth talking about in too much detail. Therefore, I'm going to skip down to the lower time frames, and you can see the daily. The daily is doing its best to really go sideways, but it's probably better to look at this price action on a 4 hour. So, the daily momentum still well and truly to the downside. The weekly is obviously still to the upside, although it has been creeping down. And the 4 hour momentum is also still to the downside, although it has been creeping up throughout this period of time here. These two lines, I think they were on the chart yesterday. This was what I suggested was the initial area that Bitcoin needed to reclaim for this to be a higher low. I mean, it was already a higher low, but for that to then translate into an uptrend, and doesn't look like that's going to happen. It hasn't happened so far. And indeed, instead, with only 7 minutes to go on this 4 hour candle, Bitcoin is actually closed below the bottom of this range, which then clarifies this as a double top. And you would expect then to see some more downside. And I would suggest that the next stop for Bitcoin is probably around 59.3. Let me just have a... Yeah, I think that's a reasonable first target. Yeah. Somewhere around the low 59s, I think, is on the cards, unless something miraculous happens in the next 7 minutes. There may well be a lower time frame retest of that area and then another move back down. But over time, I think this downside move is likely to continue. And then if there were some daily closures back below the low 59s, you're probably looking at back to the low 58s. And then, well, then we're getting down towards, you know, the current sort of range low of this whole 16 week, I think, consolidation period. So that's significant. I won't cover that in this video because I don't think it's likely right now, but that would become significant. In the same manner, okay, I'll diverge. By the way, I don't rehearse any videos, and none of this is, even the content is sort of pre-thought out. I just describe the price action analysis, and then my thoughts take me different places and I share them with you. So just like this has turned out to be a double top, but that was only clarified, and I was saying this yesterday in yesterday's video, when this price action got below the midpoint or the neckline or whatever you want to call it. Up until then, it wasn't. But when price got back, or when price did what it's doing right now, this becomes a failed higher high, and then that becomes a double top. All right, so that's all it is. It's quite simple, really. And that would imply more downside. Now, the reason why I was just sort of being a bit vague about the other area was that if you look at the weekly, I'll tell you what we'll do, it'll be quite interesting. So keep this in your mind's eye. Just this price action pattern. I'm not into patterns, by the way. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a pattern trader by any stretch of the imagination. But double tops are hard to ignore. All right, so look at that. And then if I can quickly and then look at that. Okay, this is in the opposite direction because this is to the downside. And that is to the upside. But the consolidation period with the two highs and the neckline looks very similar. On a completely different time frame, but I'm just pointing it out. All right, so remember this one was confirmed as a double top, and therefore a bearish setup when this 4-hour candle has occurred, breaking this neckline. And that will be the same case when this weekly candle closure occurs, breaking the neckline, which for a weekly closure needs to be below, it's already below it, 61.5, give or take. But for an absolute clarification, for then on all time frames, it's actually 56.6, because this wick is obviously significant on the lower time frames. So that, I don't know if that actually made sense what I just said then. Don't worry. But what I'm saying is this looks a lot like a lower, a double top, i.e. a failed higher high within an uptrend. And it looks like that's going to be clarified, as I was suggesting earlier on in this week, maybe today. But not on Bybit. Bybit, it'll be Sunday. Oh, I get a bit bogged down. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed the video and you've got some satisfaction out of it. If it's ignited some interest in this kind of material, then yeah, please come back tomorrow because I'll be doing it all again. And if you wouldn't mind dropping me a like and subscribe, that would be marvelous of you. I'd much appreciate it. And on that note, enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I'll see you tomorrow for Saturday's price action. We'll see what happens to that CME chart. Bye bye.